Hello. Happy Sunday. How's everyone doing? I actually need to grab a little sparkling water. Happy Sunday, everyone. What's up? What's going on? How's everyone doing? I'm spent my morning just sort of gearing up. This semester starts tomorrow, all on Zoom. So just, doing that stuff, getting ready. I'm sure there are folks here who have started back this semester as well, and I wonder if anyone's feeling a little stressed or anything about that. What's everyone got going on? What's happening? Oh, congratulations! Getting things that have been on our plates for a long time off the plates is like, whew. Good luck, Watson. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of unknowns. I mean, I guess the thing is, for those of you who are students, to know that your professors are just as freaked out as you are. At least if your professors are anything like me. It's a whole new world doing this all online. So, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Lydia. Do you think it's sort of managing all of the new stress that's kind of triggering it all? It's just feeling maybe like there's too much sort of for your focus to kind of too many places demanding your energy, maybe feeling a little bit like perhaps like your sources of, I don't know, I lost my train of thought. Oh, Carly, that sounds really hard. I don't know, we only have so much like emotional energy, and sometimes when daily lives like take that up, it can be really hard to find the energy to put into recovery. So I feel for you. It sounds like I'm sorry, Carly, that sounds really, really hard. Oh, Jared, I feel bad about phone anxiety. Ugh. But I bet it's one of those things where once you do it, it'll be such a relief that it'll be worth the anxiety. Um, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's good, Amina. Yeah. Yes, oh, I'm so glad, Chloe. That's so great. The recovery handbook that Miles made. Oh, I'm so glad. Um, yeah, Amina, I need to take a page out of your book in terms of figuring out when it's time to take breaks. It can be hard. It can be hard to figure that out, especially sometimes things are out of our control, like semesters starting up or having families that are very uh, life things that come up. It can be hard to kind of figure out how to slow down. Libby, that's a great question. I'd love to hear what other people say for self-compassion after a binge. I remember that feeling, those intense feelings so viscerally. I think sort of like physiology for my body, just like trying to lay down and take a nap or take a bath, something that feels like slowing my body's rhythms down and trying to ground a little bit and just sort of slow my breathing and slow my thinking, to kind of like use a sort of physical in to yeah, Carly, I like that, progressive muscle relaxation, to kind of do like an outside in approach to slowing down the thoughts. I remember that sometimes just going to sleep was really helpful, just sort of being like, it's okay, this is, this feeling isn't going to last forever, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I know I'm going to feel better than I feel right now, and just allowing myself to kind of go to bed early and kind of call it a day. But if it happens earlier in the day, it can be, I remember it being a struggle to continue to socialize or to, continue the day in the way that I had planned. Could be really, really difficult. Sometimes just sort of powering through. Oh, yeah, I like that, Chloe. Knowing that I still deserve to be able to go to work, or I still deserve to hang out with my friends, even if I binged or something that made me feel like I didn't deserve those things. Sometimes doing those things anyway could be like a kind of act of rebellion, or a kind of FU to the eating disorder. Sort of reminding myself that my friends wouldn't really care, I mean, they cared, but like it wouldn't upset them. They wouldn't love me less. I'm gonna shut a door real quick. Thanks everyone for sort of crowdsourcing your support. Oh, that's okay. What else is going on with folks? Sorry, I'm just like getting all the like home office stuff in order for tomorrow's new semester. So figuring all that out. I'm sure all of you know. Oh, Carly, negative food talk. Yes, I think this comes up every single week. It's such a constant part of diet culture and fat phobic culture, and it's so exhausting and overwhelming and frustrating. I'm sorry that you're experiencing it, and I think what can be like the most frustrating part is that not everyone is good at hearing and respecting boundaries. And to say something like yeah, to try to explain how the negative putting judgment calls on food can be hard for you. It's a vulnerable thing to do, and it's not always understood or respected by the person you're talking to. And yeah, I think it all kind of depends on how safe that friendship is. Oh, thanks, Miles. Hello. Like if that friendship feels like it's a safe enough space to get vulnerable and to say, hey, I love you, and this isn't about you, this is about me right now, and I'm working on this thing, and I'm struggling with this thing, and I know this might seem like a strange request, but would you mind maybe trying to avoid talking about X, Y, and Z around me, because it's a little bit challenging for me. Doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It would be a really loving thing for you to do as a friend to help me out. Yeah, Carly, so she's not remembering, she's not respecting the boundary. Yeah. Ooh, and this happens, and I think, diet culture is so ingrained. I wonder if you could like if you're really close, have a signal like when something is triggering you, you could like squeeze her hand twice, and she'll know, uh-oh, I shouldn't do that, something that can be loving, rather than, oh, you did something wrong. I would sometimes like excuse myself from conversations when they derailed themselves into being about diet culture and stuff like that. I would just sort of like walk away and kind of. I think folks got the hint. And then I will have to say that as my recovery has gone on farther and farther, I do have an easier time being around diet culture without it affecting my recovery. So in the long term, I would just want to say, I have a hunch it'll become easier for you to hear these things and easier for you to just sort of let them kind of pass by and let them, so you can sort of see them as the toxic things they are and let them go. But that takes practice, and it takes, it takes a long time to reverse the effects of diet culture. But just to sort of give you a light at the end of the tunnel a little bit about that it won't always be as hard to hear those things as it feels right now, I don't think. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I get why I kind of understand why it might be easier for acquaintances than close friends. I have a hunch that it could be because deep down, it's really hard to be someone who hasn't internalized diet culture and fat phobia. And I have a hunch that when anyone speaks it, it's because they're struggling. And to call out someone you love about it, or to bring it up, you might be hitting at something that they're struggling with that they don't want to tell you about. And it doesn't even have to be an eating disorder. It could just be, I'm struggling with guilt around food. I'm struggling with feeling like I don't look like the images of people I see, and that's really human and really hard to avoid living in the culture that we live in. So I have a hunch that that maybe that's why. I don't know. I've missed a lot of comments. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, Lisa asks for some tips, right, for cooking more. They share the kitchen with 12 other people and it's stressful. Does anyone have any tips? I am not a great cook either, and I still get a little bit of anxiety around cooking, but I don't necessarily think it has to do with my eating disorder anymore. I think it has to do with feeling like I just am not good at it. And I understand why it's connected to recovery for a lot of folks. But any tips? Any tips on sharing the kitchen? I get why it could be overwhelming because there's a lot of people and sounds and sensory things. I get why that could be overwhelming. I don't know. Would it be rude to sort of be like, hey guys, love you all, I'm just gonna listen to a podcast while I cook. I'm not being rude, I just want to listen to this thing. So you just like put your podcast in or put your music in and kind of do your thing as a way to sort of like tune out some of the noise. I don't know. Oh, that's fun, Watson. Yeah, starting with some smaller things. Yeah, I'm curious, are you looking to cook with them, or are you just all kind of doing your own thing, cooking around each other? Start with easy foods. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cool, Carly. Yeah, cooking can be a really stressful thing, but it can also be a healing thing, I think. Right, Lisa. Okay, yeah, you don't want to kind of get interrupted or get sort of, yeah. So maybe tools for, do you think it's like a sensory overload? Do you think it's related to like judgments about what you're cooking or how you're doing cooking? Yeah, I think Olivia has a good point too. Most people are so wrapped up in their own day and what they're doing that they're sort of not noticing anything that's going on with the people around them. Like, I can't remember what my partner cooked last. I was too busy thinking about my to-do list, So maybe keeping in mind that there's no way that it's as impactful a moment for them as it is for you could maybe be a little bit of comfort in that moment. Maybe there's a little bit of like, exposure therapy to have with it too, to just sort of say, this is uncomfortable and I'm okay, and I'll be okay. Like, this is uncomfortable. It will be uncomfortable if someone walks in, and I'll still be able to finish this meal, complete cooking this meal. And then maybe, I don't know, also giving yourself permission to, if someone comes in to go use the restroom for a second, as just like a place to have a breather, to recenter, and then to go back in. Those are just some ideas I'm thinking of. They may not work for you. If anyone else has ideas, that would be awesome. Amina, yes. Baking treats without binging. You know, I think for me, the only way I've been able to do that kind of stuff is to be not restricting for long enough that my body trusts that it's going to get the nutrition it needs. So that urge to binge has kind of gone away. That's kind of, you know, time and consistent intuitive eating has been sort of the biggest help for me in that. But I think it's also important to acknowledge that people indulge on treats they bake whether they have an eating disorder or not, and that some of that is okay, I think, as not a healthcare professional in any way, shape, or form, but just as someone experiencing it. I think there's something human about baking a delicious thing of cookies and eating a couple more than you normally would at lunch. You know, sometimes I think that kind of stuff is part of what makes recovery great, is that it's not black and white. And my mom, who's never had eating disorder issues, is like one of the most balanced sort of people I know. Like, she'll indulge more than she normally would when we're baking, but there's not the mental, you know, beating herself up after, because she just eats intuitively, and she knows that her body will figure out how to regulate if she had a little extra treats here and there. So I don't know. I try to practice flexibility and compassion around that stuff. And just know that it's okay sometimes to eat more than I planned. It's okay. Like, that's fine. Our bodies will deal, you know? And that just having, working on allowing yourself to have sweets and move on. Yeah, like enjoying it in the moment, and then you can kind of move on to the next activity. And if you feel a little extra full, hey, it'll go away in a couple hours, you know? Our bodies like know how to do it. But yeah, I think you did hit on a key thing there with being able to move on and be present in the next moment, when the moment isn't about the treat anymore. It's about hanging with a friend, or you know, doing your homework, or watching TV, or whatever the next thing is. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Amanda. It sounds like you're getting some unwanted comments about your body, and that's never okay. And why do people still think that is okay? I'm really sorry. That's really, really legitimately difficult, and you should be proud of the work that you're doing. And I think trust that you're on the right track, and that when people comment on our shapes and you know, that's about them. That's something with them. That's not about you, you know. I'm really sorry. You don't deserve to get those, and that's not fair. And I'm really, really sorry. Let me see. Oh, I'm so glad, Chloe. Yay. Oh, milk tea sending love. Let's see here. Popsicles are my favorite sick food. Yeah. What just happened? Okay. Any tips for getting away from black and white thinking? Really struggling with this. Yes, I have a feeling you are in good company with struggling with black and white thinking. let's troubleshoot this as a group. Black and white thinking. Gosh, what do I do when I'm experiencing that? I think I try to, if, here's option A, here's option B, we got black and white. I try to think about what could live in here, which is a really hard exercise. Trying to just fill out the gray space, just as a thought experiment. I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, I'll use a very personal example. So our semester starts tomorrow, and the black and white thinking I experience is I have to be 100% perfect and totally, completely prepared, or I'm going to be the worst teacher ever, right? I feel that as true, that I am having the thought, that I am having the feeling that that is true. And if I slow my thinking down a little bit and I say, okay, what am I expecting of myself here? I'm expecting to be perfect. I'm expecting to be perfect in a pandemic where I'm teaching online and it's a whole new world. I'm expecting more out of myself than I ever would have expected out of any of my professors who I was able to view as human beings who were not perfect. And is the only option perfect or complete failure? Do I have evidence of professors in my past life who have been somewhere in the middle, have had good days and bad days, came to school sick sometimes, had to miss because they had a family emergency? Yeah, humans are humans. Oh, that's cool, Carly. We use Blackboard though, but maybe they should do that. That's really great. So saying, okay, if I prepare to the best of my intentions and listen and am present with my students, will likely have a more positive experience than a negative experience, and sort of allowing myself, if I have black and white here, allowing myself at least to fill in, even if I can't get to the real gray zone, at least to sort of like fill in the sides. I don't know if that's helpful. I see that Miles is putting some really great thoughts in here. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, talking to yourself, and yes, the word and, talking to yourself like you would talk to a friend, which can be a hard exercise, but an important one. I would never expect my fellow professors to expect themselves to be perfect, or they're total failures who don't deserve the job. I mean, I can hear that towards someone else's. That's a ridiculous thought, but I feel the pressure on myself, so I have to kind of interact with it and communicate with it. Yeah. Yeah, would you tell little Robin? Oh yeah, looking at how you would talk to a childhood self is really great. Oh, Watson, so you're struggling with feeling valid, like valid as a human being. Oh yeah, life is really hard. This year especially is really hard, and struggling and moving through life is really difficult, and all people are valid, despite whatever it is they're struggling with. Just because you're living with this thing, working through this thing, doesn't take any of the value that your life has away from you. And I know it can be hard to internalize that and really feel that, because part of what the eating disorder does, or at least part of what it did to me, was really suck kind of all of my life force away. It kind of took all my energy, it took all my thoughts, it took a lot of my personality, and the things I once really loved about myself, I had trouble finding them. And it was only through, recovery that I was able to reconnect with those things again. And so I don't know if you can make a list of, this can be really hard to do and maybe it's cheesy, but a list of things you genuinely like about yourself. Perhaps the exercise of thinking about yourself as the young version of yourself. Maybe if you could have a picture of yourself as a young kid on your desk or on your phone, so that when you start to doubt the value that you have, you can sort of look into the eyes of yourself as a child, and see that you do matter, and that you do have value, and that our struggles help make us who we are, and give us empathy and courage and strength and resilience. And even if you can't feel all those things now, they're building in you, you know? Let's see. Okay. Tia? I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. Tia seems to be experiencing a lot of distress around going back to school and worrying about bullying, about the eating disorder. Anyone have any experience with that, or how to sort of manage the anxiety leading up to the moment? And then Taya, cool, pretty. Yeah, I saw an idea Liz just had about, do you have a good friend who can kind of be your ally with this, that you can kind of sort of have a little backup, have a little moral support? Yeah, being honest with your friends. It might be helpful. I don't know if your school has support groups that it offers, like through the health department, or the healthcare services, but it might be nice to sort of look in to some of the resources that might be available, because you are not the only one at your school struggling with an eating disorder. Unfortunately, you're not. Just statistically, it's impossible that you're the only one. And bullying is a hard, real, scary thing. I think maybe having some like affirmations on the ready that you feel connected to, like, I mean, just as a, I am valued, I am funny, I am brave, just things that you can kind of, thought patterns you can kind of build up and come back to. Carly, I like that too. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of folks are bringing up having, drawing on the support of your friends right now. I think can be a really powerful tool. Also knowing that, as someone who is far past it, high school doesn't last forever, and you know, it's a really sort of cliche thing to say, but I do think it's true that hurt people. And if you're getting negative comments and bullying, that there's probably something going on in the person who is saying those things, which doesn't mean that they're not incredibly hurtful, but just knowing that there's some struggle happening for them, that might have to do with shape, that might have to do with, stuff at home. Yeah, Chloe brings up a great point too. They're probably not very educated on the subject. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice, Carly, too. I have a lot of compassion for you and for the anxiety you feel going into that environment. And oh, that's good. Um, and just know that, we're supporting you, we're thinking about you, and we know you can get through it. And hopefully, it won't be as bad as it's built up in your mind. Hopefully, we can't promise that, of course, because unfortunately, some people in this world are cruel, but I hope you don't encounter them. Yeah. Yeah. Anna is asking how to battle that thought, that sort of seductive thought from the eating disorder that wants to keep us sick and wants to keep us sort of debilitated and unable to participate in the world. Yeah, someone's playing piano downstairs. Feeling like they failed their eating disorder. This is a big one too, and I think probably a lot of us can relate to it. I know that for me, I felt special in my eating disorder. I felt kind of powerful. And looking back now, that makes me so sad for younger Angela because the eating disorder was lying and it was taking my power and it was making me it was taking what made me special and diluting that, and it wasn't allowing me to live to the fullest and to use my brain to the fullest and to enjoy the experiences of life to the fullest. I think there's, comfort in the known, right? Even if the known sucks, we know it, we know what it feels like, and we know that we've survived it, so we can keep surviving it. And what feels unknown, that sort of letting go, can be really scary. And I think if you can just trust me when I say it's better on the other side, and to try and oh yes, I love Taylor Swift's quote. We don't go there anymore. We don't do that anymore, as her self-talk to herself. I actually use that because I don't know. I love her, and I loved the attitude behind that. It just felt really empowered and like, nope, sorry, I've got other things to do. I've got other things to do. I've got more important things to attend to than this right now. I'm building a life beyond my body. And I just really liked that. I really thought it was awesome. Yeah, I thought it was really empowered. Yeah. Kind but firm. Yeah. Yeah. I like to sort of mock my eating disorder, so it's a sad little bully. That's funny. I love that. I didn't see Billie Eilish's short film. I would love to check it out. Devin is struggling with some feelings of, it sounds like, some tough feelings. I'm sorry, Devin. I think we've all been there, definitely. Yeah. But the world needs us, and the world needs us healthy, so that our brains aren't chained to this cycle, this destructive cycle. We have more value and purpose than this, and we owe it to ourselves and to each other and to creating a better future, to be out there, fighting for a better world. And diet culture just sucks the best of us, and the eating disorder sucks the best of us and sort of incapacitates us, and we gotta fight it. We gotta fight against it, because the world's a scary place right now, and we need as many good people out there who can put their energy and their voices into the world. Julie, I think it's really great that you're noticing that something is changing. And I think it's really key to catch this kind of stuff early, because it may be a little bit of disordered eating now, but a couple months from now, when you've perhaps really honed in those neuro pathways, it's a lot harder to fight the longer you get into it. So doing things to disrupt the new patterns you see, if you can block out any of those counting things, it's all stop, um, do what you can to shut it down, to not let yourself go there, to see if you can really get in touch with your hunger cues. There are some books you might want to read just to kind of get ahead of it, because it's a really powerful spot that you're in right now, where you are sort of teetering on the edge and haven't totally gone over into that world. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Yeah, it is really hard to overcome. I'd recommend Anti-Diet by Christy Harrison, Eight Keys of Eating Disorder Recovery by Carolyn Costin. I have never read it, but I need to, and I've heard great things about the book Intuitive Eating that kind of teaches how that all works, just to get back to what your body knows how to do, and to get your thoughts off of your body and off of food and on to more interesting things, like, you know, really anything is more interesting. Well, folks, it has been wonderful checking in with you this week. I'm seeing a lot of anxiety and a lot of uncertainty, and it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot going on. We're moving into fall, it's a transition period, but try to be compassionate with yourself. I challenge and encourage you to be really rigorous with your self-care and checking in with your treatment teams and checking out some new support groups and turning off the thoughts that come in that disrupt our lives. Remember, we don't do that anymore. We don't think about that anymore. We've got more important things to do. And I'll be back next week, and I'll have started this semester, so I won't be such a zombie. Or maybe I will be. We'll see. Sending so much love to you all, and let's practice 5% more. We don't do that anymore this week. Okay. Mwah, mwah. Love you all.